I just got to start here, Aaliyah. I got so many questions for you, but I got to start here because you were born a prodigy. Let's just put that out there. You come from good basketball. I ain't. I'm underestimating. You come from great basketball genes on both sides. I mean, your mom was a demon, a killer. Your dad, you know who your dad is. I ain't even got to say who your dad is. And for you to walk in there, my first question for you is, and of course, Agee, now we got so many. What has it been for you uh, being the heir apparent to your moms and pop?
It's been a great journey, honestly, and I've been doing nothing but just embracing it. Just embracing the fact that I have just two legendary parents, even not just for other people, but for me too. Like they're my idols, and so just learning about them and what they did in their careers and learning the journeys that they took to get to a certain point in their careers, not just in basketball but in life too. I've just been doing nothing but embracing it, studying it, and just doing the best I can to do the same for myself and have that same type of legendary career.
My goodness. And AJ, for you, you watching this, when did you see it? Or did you always see it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I saw it early, man. When she was probably like 5 or 6 years old, I saw it, and it was always in the back of my mind because as far as you guys know, as parents, you don't want to force anything on your kid, but you want to introduce them to as much as you can so they can make a decision as far as which road they want to go. And as soon as we put that basketball in her hand, and it was just you saw the natural ability. That's when I knew like genes could be these genes could be passed down through sports too, because we hadn't taught anything, we hadn't talked about anything, and she just took off with the basketball running. And I'm like, man, kids don't do that at that age. At the age of 5 and 6, go shoot a right hand layup and just handle it with on a string. So from that point, I kept a watchful eye. And then, when she got up to about seventh grade, we had a conversation about, okay, is this what you really want to do? But me and her mom both, we kept her in the gym. Her mom was kind of still playing professionally in, I think it was Italy at the time, Italy and Russia at the time. And I think Aaliyah, all you have is basketball when you play overseas. So, I think Aaliyah kind of gravitated towards that. And that was the beginning of her development. So give her mom all the credit for the beginning development of her just putting the ball in her hands, keeping it in her hands. But and then being able to be international. People don't know about Aaliyah. Aaliyah was born in Peoria, but she's she has a Brazilian passport as well. So speaks fluent Portuguese, and maybe you can force her to speak some Portuguese before we get out of here. But she hate when I do that, but we know valuable that is. Like I'll be trying to get like this is valuable, and I want you to keep using that, and don't feel shame about it or not. When somebody asks you, do it. So, but back to that, man. I knew it from a young age that she had it in her, and it's just all about finding a process and following it from then on.
Well, we ain't gonna wait that long. Aaliyah, give us some of that Portuguese. Say, I love this game in Portuguese. I mean, we we need to hear it.
All right, I'm gonna say I love this game of basketball. Eu amo o jogo de basquete.
Now, you gotta slow that down for the slow people, like like get on the back of the bus.
Right.
All right. Eu amo esse jogo de basquete.
Can't get no slower than that.
Yeah, that's fluent.
Yes.
That's
It's fluent.
yeah,
Hey,
that's
AJ,
fluent. There.
Yeah, it's
for
definitely
our
That's fluent.
listeners,
Yeah.
let our listeners know, how did you meet Aaliyah's mom, and who is Aaliyah's mom,
Mhm.
and why is that part of her gene
Okay.
is superb as well?
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. I met Aaliyah's mother's name is Adriana Moises Pinto. Her Brazilian, she's known in Brazil as Adrianinha, and that's her nickname. I don't know what it means, but I just remember people calling her that all the time. And I met her in Italy when I was playing in Italy. She was playing in a team called Faenza, and I was playing in a team called Bologna. And when we met, and we obviously we had Aaliyah, and we were together for a while. We're not together now, but we have a great relationship still because of Aaliyah and the sacrifices that need to be made to get to Aaliyah to this point. But her mother was a special player, man. She was tough. She could really shoot the ball. She was a leader, one of those natural leaders like you guys were on the court. And she led Faenza to a. She started her pro career at like 13. She left her home in Brazil. Back then it was like that money was everything to Brazilian families. So at about 13 or 14, she left Brazil and went to start playing professionally, and ended up in Italy for a long period of time. And that's where our paths end up crossing. And so her mother played with the Brazilian national team, I think 5 times. I think she was on.
Five Olympics.
She played in 5 Olympics.
Wow.
So she's been a part of
Wow.
5 Olympic teams, and she she has success internationally. She has success with her national team. She played 2 seasons with the Phoenix Mercury in the
Mm.
WNBA. I think she had a stint with Diana Taurasi, and I don't think Cappie was there yet. The group of right before Cappie Pondexter was there. But was able to get down there and watch her play there, and then she ended up playing a few more years professionally, and now she ended up moving to the United States. We could have had her on the podcast. I wasn't even thinking. She even moving to the United States. She lives in Iowa with her
Wow.
family, and we took a long process. But I always commend Adriana because it's hard for women to part
Yes.
with their children because at the time, her Adriana was living in Brazil, and what's the name of the city in Brazil? Her
Uh,
husband's from
Recife.
Recife, Brazil. It's like I think it's on the northwestern tip of Brazil. Beautiful beach
Yeah.
city, but they were living there at the time, and Aaliyah was getting to that age where it was time to stop the inconsistency with the schools. Aaliyah's been in European school. She's been in
Wow.
Brazilian school. She's been so around that time, around 8 or 9, it was
Mm.
time to be consistent. And her mother always she saw the vision because it was a vision she had to want to play college basketball. But she actually passed up an
Mm.
opportunity, I believe, to play at Oklahoma. And when she was coming out of high school, but she didn't understand. She was going
Right.
for the money. She went for the money. So what she had to do for her family, but she always talks about how in the past, if she had to do it over again, she probably would have went ahead and went to college. And so it was that time for Aaliyah. So she made the tough decision to allow Aaliyah to come to the States and stay with me because she knows it's a better opportunity for her, especially once we realized that she had an opportunity to be really special in basketball. So it wouldn't, none of this would have happened without that decision because you guys know in custody battles and you get the arguing and fighting. We never really had that when it came to Aaliyah, and she understood. Not only she understood that, she also did what it takes to get over here and support her last 2 years or a year of basketball. So, and it's a long process to get citizenship to come to the United States, and she did that to be a part of Aaliyah's final 2 years of school. So that's the process doesn't start without that big decision being made back when Aaliyah was
Well,
9 or 10 years old.
it's yeah.
First of all, we
It sounds
cannot
like she sacrificed
underestimate
a
that.
lot, man. We got to give it up for moms, man. We got to give it up for moms,
Yeah,
man. Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
She
Shout
sacrificed. She
out
sounds
to
like she
mom.
sacrificed a
Shout
lot,
out to
man.
mom. You,
Absolutely. You're no doubt.
what's interesting about that, hearing that you say that, AJ. I just remember too. Uh, a lot of people don't recognize this, but my mom made a very similar sacrifice. I keep telling people I hadn't lived in my mother's house since I was 14. So parents see the vision before we can see it. We just don't see it but Aaliyah, I know you're grateful for what your mom has did because we see the proof in it. Uh, but I know it's been a little tough for you. Tell us how you have dealt with not being around mom and pursuing your dream.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like the older I got, those were kind of the times where I created the most memories for myself, and so that was kind of tough just because I wasn't around my mom and I wasn't able to create as many memories from 7th grade year and after, and so just really trying to, be on the phone, FaceTime, and just keep some type of relationship with her. Um, that was just the goal, and it still is the goal. Like, still just visiting. I'm supposed to be going there this weekend, but just going up there to visit, spend some time with her, and even my two little sisters. They're shy. They're still trying to build a relationship with their older sister. They're trying to look up to their older sister. So I'm just trying my best to be there for them as well. But overall, just the mother and daughter bond, that was really tough for us to try to build from a distance. But I mean, me going to Iowa is definitely a blessing, because I'll be closer, and so it'll definitely be beneficial for our relationship. But it definitely just trying to overcome that type of adversity and having that close bond with your mother. And yeah.
Well, I can tell you this. I can hear it in your heart. I know you miss mom, but I'm so grateful that your mom and your dad, they make that decision, because if not, we don't get this Aaliyah that we got right now. And
Yeah.
on top of that, um, and I don't want to be dismissive of this too, but you got a stepmom. You
Hmm.
know, how has that been for you, and how did that help shape and mold you as well?
Hmm. I mean, just the having that female connection is has definitely been helpful coming from my stepmom. Um, there's a lot of certain things that daughters talk to with their mothers about, and so she's been there for me. My stepmother Alicia, she's been there for me when it comes to that. Me asking questions and developing, becoming a young woman. So that's definitely been helpful. I mean, not that I wouldn't talk to it about my mom either, but just her being able to show me things, being able to teach me things, face to face, being able to have conversations has definitely been helpful.
And and AG, do you see how she slid that in there?
Yeah.
I knew your stepmom name was Alicia. I just
Ah,
didn't want to throw another AG out there. I'm
Hey,
just saying.
the
I
whole
caught
lot.
that, G. I caught that, G.
Good. Good.
I
Yeah.
caught that.
Good. No, that's good.
I'm like, well, let's talk your career, Aaliyah, because before we started recording, you and I was talking a little bit, and you probably have experienced more currently than a lot of athletes may experience in a lifetime. So my next question for you is, when did you know that this was what you wanted to do?
I would say my sixth grade year when I got here, and we won our city championship for Sterling Middle School. And I just remember, like, it's just like the feeling of just winning, and knowing that it was because of work that you put in, work that I put in at such a young age with my dad, just being in the gym, working on my form, working on my jump shot and stuff like that, and knowing that all of that is definitely worth it. Just the feeling of winning, and I would say that definitely made me realize, like, yeah, I want to keep doing this. Mind you, I accept losing. Sometimes I can be a sore loser, but I feel like losing definitely is just a part of growing, and I also embrace those moments too. So, and also realizing that made me want to keep going. Um, how our younger generation says, "Get back." So that's what I focus on a lot too, when I know I'm gonna cross paths with somebody that may have beat me a couple years ago. Like, that's
Mm,
still on my mind. And
mm.
so just developing that type of mentality when I was younger, that also helped me just be like, yeah, yeah, like this what I want to do.
You know what else I find so unique about her, Will, is that at such an early age, she has, I mean, like almost a veteran understanding about international ball and the United States ball.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, that is, she has, like, you have a one up on a lot of young United States girls who haven't never when are gonna play
Hmm.
overseas and play internationally and things like that. And you got it, you can get that information from your mom because she's done it on the big stage. All I want to do is just have her introduce me to Liz Cambage. See how slid that is.
Right.
You see how slid that is.
It's something small.
But Aaliyah, But Aaliyah, tell us about the difference of that international play and the United States play.
So when I was with the Brazilian team in 2021, that's when I really got to get a feel for not just playing in Brazil, but playing against other countries, playing against other types of players. Um, the difference I will say is just I would say the mentality and the aggressiveness. I know a lot of us in America, like, we think we got it all. We think we like that. Okay, cool. But they have their journeys too. And it's just the way that they're brought up, it makes them play in a different type of way at a different pace. Not necessarily a faster pace, but it can be slower. Like, if you see Luca, for example, like, it's almost like he playing in slow motion. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he's still out here cooking. Whether you
Yeah.
quicker than him or not, whether you stronger than him or not, he's still gonna be cooking you just because that's how he learned, that's how he grew up, and that's his style. So I would definitely say the different styles and the different the different ways that um foreigners they approach the game has definitely been able to, just see the game two steps ahead, as you should, as a point guard, as you should as a player in general. And so I would definitely say that just the overall mentality and, being able to play with and against people who are brought up from a different type of cloth.
AJ, did you see that when you went overseas, when your first time when you went over there and started playing?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. They prepare, they train differently when we train, and like in the comment that she made was it almost teaches them to be a step ahead. And sometimes as players, we become a step. Some of us become a step ahead, but they're always training, to be a step ahead. And like she said, ones that aren't athletic and aren't as quick and aren't as strong, that first of all, they play with a passion because they're playing for the country. But then second of all, they have an understanding of the game that is just beyond. It's like when you're a part of it, like when I played over there, averaging 12 or 13 points is like averaging 25 over there. So here in the States, averaging 25 is like averaging 13 over there. You're only going to get 7 to 8 shots. You got to make 4 to 5 of them. And it teaches you efficiency. It makes you work on the areas of your game that you need to be efficient in, and it also just you start to learn how to see the game the way that they see it, and that's why it's a little bit different now, and they're kind of catching up to us because they really do this twice a day, 4 days a week. They really work on. They have offensive practices in the morning and defensive practices in the evening.
I heard they practice more than they play games overseas.
Absolutely, yeah, they practice way more. You get 2, 4, 6, at least 6 to 8 practices a week before you play a game. Like that's the difference. It's the practice to game ratio. Our game to practice ratio is not where it needs to be here in the United States. I mean, we playing 6 games to 1 practice, and they're playing 1 game to 6 practices. So they're coming in, they're playing on the Friday and they're playing on the Saturday, and then they're getting to work on everything that they didn't do right or well in the game all week. And then with that build up, it's like we was in high school. That build up of playing Friday nights. You know what I mean? If you lose on Friday or Saturday, you practice it sometimes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes, yes.
And then you can't wait to rip somebody's head off on Friday and Saturday.
Absolutely.
It's different now.
That's because if you lost, you had to take it out on them because the coach got into you, boy.
It's gonna be a battle that week, So that's the biggest difference that I saw, and when I see this resurgence of international basketball, I understand why. And I'm just waiting on us to put the system together to get back to where we need to be.
It's interesting that you say that because you're right. I mean, and this my next question for both of you guys, but you see on the NBA level, our top 3, maybe even top 4 players are all international players, and Wembanyama ain't too far from them either.
You're right.
I mean, if you look at it, and then even our defensive players, all top 3 were all international players.
Crazy.
Just to go along with what Agee said, can can you tell us over here in America what's missing right now
Mhm.
from both the men and the women's game that 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 we're not that we're not that we're losing grounds in a
Right.
sense
hmm
in terms of the basketball community.
Uh, for me, first, I think the AAU culture is just going out of control. It doesn't, and it's not the fault of the people who want to be coaches or want to be involved. There's no blame on any particular person.
Anybody?
It's just that
Mm-hmm.
kids love to play games, and you guys know that your skills were honed and developed organically. When he was watching hoop drill, we got to sit and kind of watch your guys' development in real time, and that's you guys. That's the only view that we have. And what I saw was, you know, Will Walker dribbling and walking up the ball, running up the street, dribbling the basketball, swing your legs behind your back. I saw you Arthur playing one on one. Like, this is how our skills were honed. It was organic. We were not in addition to dribbling the ball and playing basketball every single day. We also played baseball. We also raced in the streets. We also
Yep.
flipped in the fields. We also went exploring in places we weren't supposed to go because our mamas told us not to
Mm-hmm.
go. We went anyway.
Not to go.
We did everything, and to me, in my view, that was our development in basketball. And then once basketball took a hold of us, we just took that to another level. We played that and I know my daughter and them think we be lying, but we literally played that stuff 6 to 7 days a week, all day. So after school, we got out of school at 2:30, drop the bags, we lie about our homework, and we go outside. And yeah, it's done. It's good. Yeah, we ain't had no today. And we go from 3 to the street lights come on. And we hooping from there. And guess what? Game wasn't at that court. We hopping on our bikes.
Don't
We travel
go
across
to
town, going to the next one. We no cell phones now. Like, we had no idea if anybody was gonna be there, but we going
Yeah.
anyway. So what we do? Play
Wow.
1-on-1. We played 21. We played 32. We played 5-on-5, 3-on-3, 2-on-2. So it's just a fast forward. Now the development is not organic anymore. Now kids think they can go to trainers and get this type of development. You can't emulate that kind of training that we had. That was organic. The type of physical training that we had. We out in the sun all day, like with no food
Yeah.
though. No, no
Yeah.
food. So I'm gonna pause it right there and get her comment because there's so much to that.
Yeah.
But that's the
Right.
Yeah.
beginning of it for me, and I'm watching our kids
Mm-hmm.
not get that toughness Arthur had, that toughness Will had, that to go into somebody's home court and just beat the crap out of them because we
Yeah.
competitors, not because I hate you.
Yeah.
It's that
Sure.
I'm a
Right.
competitor based on what I learned in the streets. But go ahead, Leah. Sorry, what you think?
So I feel like in the basketball world, I would say something that's been bothering me, just even as a player watching it, is just being loyal to your team and your coaches. Like, and when it comes to that, I would say the transfer portal is out of hand, and I think as athletes we need to learn how to trust in a certain process, and also how the NIL and stuff go. Not put too much focus on that. I mean, also consider it and embrace it, but um, I would definitely say just the loyalty, and learning how to just grind things out. I mean, it's a lot of
Yeah.
things that you like players like you guys. You've definitely set a certain stage for us, and we've been able to earn different things from you guys, like when it comes to NIL, when it comes to like having
Yeah.
new rules in college and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely just say not quitting an AAU team just because of one thing, going to the next
Yeah.
one, going to the next one, going
Mm-hmm.
to the next one, and just being real with ourselves. Like, maybe we may be a problem.
hmm
Maybe it's not
Yeah.
just everybody else's fault. Just
Okay.
Yeah.
because you ain't dropping 45, but somebody else dropping 50 on you, and now you mad.
Mhm.
Like, no, go figure it out. Figure out what the problem is. Figure out what your weaknesses are, and I mean, work on it. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be a process. So just stop trying to shortcut things. It's definitely something I would say to a lot of us athletes that are out here.
And for me to piggyback off of that and to talk about what the question that you asked, I think the public school system is really dead. There's this public school sports system for people of color. And again, I'm an athletic director. I've been doing this for this is my 5th year I've completed and being an athletic director. And I can't say anymore how disappointed I am in the public schools approach to creating athletics that will transform our kids like it transformed us. Because we had those good systems. I know Will went to a private school. Arthur, you started at a private school, but end up going to public schools. But you have family and friends and kids that are involved in that as well. And it's I think the public school system took a backseat to travel, and not knowing that you can create a system in public school that emulates and mirrors the experience you'll have in college. But if you allow, since we've allowed anybody to coach our kids, we don't vet and who we hire to coach our kids anymore. Anybody, we don't train them anymore. We don't care. We don't care. None of our kids go to college. I saw they had a what do you call it, a signing day here, and my daughter was the only one in our system that got signed to go to college for that particular time period. And these other schools got 3, 4 tables full of kids. And I'm like, what? If that doesn't bother you, nothing will bother you. But we have the resources and the system and the people to change it. But I don't know if people care to really even change it. And I think that's a big part of another big part of why you see our kids don't get the opportunities that we got to use basketball and not let basketball use us, to use it in a way to further our experience. Not the education is great. I love the social experience of college. The people I got to meet, the classes I got to be in, the lifelong memories I got to create. Being on my own for the first time. You know what I mean? I saw you guys experience the same thing, like and learning how to survive out there with the tools that we have. And I think the public school system needs to be reworked, revamped. I think the NBA need to step in and support it, and because I think the people of color are being shortchanged when it comes to public school athletics, and I'm part of the problem. I'm trying to be part of the solution, but this is 5 years of kind of research, and I'm like, why y'all not going to school no more? What's wrong with y'all? Like, forget all that. It's the experience to get out your hometown before something happened to you. Like, you know what I mean? So I think and it's a lot of details that I'm not going to get into because it take too long. But I think the public school, we can start with revamping, reworking the public school system, starting with the IHSA here in Illinois.
Hey, Will, I want to piggyback off of what Aaliyah said when she talked about the loyalty. Going to a place, and if you feel it's not working out for you, what we've created here in the States, it's not turning out how I like. Let me get up and run. Let me go someplace else, and not sit there and fester and figure it out on your own. Like she said, maybe it's me. Like, am I really working hard? Like, is it, like, how do you know if you really working hard?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like Will, did it ever come to your mind, damn, I don't like this Marquette. Coach O'Neal is tripping. Let me leave and get ready. I want to go to Bradley. Did that ever creep into your mind, Will, at that time?
Let me tell you something, man. I think for some athletes that will creep in your mind, but it's like, I like what Aaliyah said. First of all, I want to be a Guyton. I just want to let you know that I want to be a Guyton. I walked away with 3 things, man. Just hearing both of them talk. The first one was I heard AJ talk. He said, "Hey, it's organic. Athletes, they're not getting it organically anymore." Then Aaliyah came right behind him and said, "Not only is it organically, there's no more personal accountability to you having to be responsible for, your game, your actions. You say this is what you want to do, but then you get mad when it ain't working out the way you thought it was. All I heard her say was, sometimes people forget the strategy. Like everybody got a strategy for success, but nobody has a strategy for when the success ain't working out right.
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 And they go hand in hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
As Aaliyah know, hey, that's the balloons for y'all, by the way. Also,
I was wondering, like, what?
That's the balloons for y'all, man, because I'm excited about this interview. And then AJ came back on top of that and said, it's not only that, we also there's a systematic structure that's not being addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And, and again, and I'm very happy for this because I do want to transition into this with you, Aaliyah and AJ, is I do think this is what we're seeing in the women's game.
Mm-hmm.
The women's game is having that grassroots approach, is having that organic aspect of it because they had to fight for it. They had to fight to get into these different audience and stadiums and different kinds of things. So with that being said, Aaliyah, and this is for both of you guys, where do you see the women's game at now, especially compared to, AJ when we was playing, it didn't have any of what we are seeing and experiencing now. And I can even take it back to, I remember when Lisa Leslie and them, they were, the Olympic team, and that was the big push.
Yeah.
But that didn't even have, what we're seeing now. So, Aaliyah, what's your thoughts on just the way that the women's game has evolved? Because you are a part of that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, first thing I want to say is I'm very thankful to be entering at a certain time like this during the women's game, doing nothing but growing. And I love how all the women are embracing it, taking advantage of it in a good way. But I think a lot of it comes with women just being so stubborn, honestly, and just keep going and just not giving up, not giving up when people weren't showing up at their games, not just quitting basketball, not just saying, oh, I'm just gonna go overseas, or I'm just gonna get this job here. And so I think that comes with the whole loyalty thing I was talking about, just staying strong together, being loyal to each other, being loyal to the women community. And I think it's been great. I think it's been a good journey for women. I think it's been a good ride, and I hope it does nothing but just keep exceeding.
Yeah, man. I always say I watched the documentary, "The Women of Troy," with Cheryl in them, and I feel that we were robbed, of seeing Cheryl Miller in the WNBA. Like we were robbed of her, of us watching that.
Right.
And so now we get a Candace Parker, we get a Lisa Leslie. We get all these. It's man. I always tell guys, guys who are not recruited. Well, it's like, man, I ain't getting no looks. I said, do you know how hard it is for women? It's 20 times hard for women to even, to separate themselves and say, hey, look at me, I got game. You know what I'm saying? So I say, you just gotta want it, man, that bad, and never give up.
Yeah.
I would say another thing when it comes to you. I'm sorry, when it comes to you saying like that we want it. I mean, I like how we're now starting to even play against men, like playing against boys. Like my dad told me, like, this how you gonna get stronger. This how you gonna get better. They gonna push you, but it's also gonna give you an opportunity to show yourself, like, dang, I can do this against these boys. Just imagine what I'm gonna do during the season against these girls. Like, they gonna be too little, as we say. We gonna be flexing in their face or whatever. But I would say, I just hope we keep attacking things, attacking whoever we feel like may be in our way. And if it's a guy, then we got to go ahead and take him on.
Absolutely. But how do you feel? And this is just about you personally. How do you feel? What's your personal responsibility in this movement? Because here's the thing: a lot of people don't even recognize this, but the WNBA is celebrating 30 years. And let's be honest, it's and I wish you would have had an opportunity to play with her. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. But I wish you would have had an opportunity to play with Caitlin. But it's because what Caitlin has done that even this year, right now, the WNBA energy is feeding off of that literally.
Mm-hmm.
My question for you is I got two. Um, why do you think it took this long? And how do you see yourself fitting into this new era of the women's game?
I would say, for me personally, my goal is to just be as consistent as I can. I know that's something a lot of people look for. But even just for myself, I want to be, I want to be consistent. I don't want to be the type to be questioned all the time. Like, for it to be questionable how I'm gonna perform. Like, I want to make sure that I'm going hard no matter what. For myself and for the women's game. And why it took so long, I think I think media plays a big part in it. I don't think the media caught on for a while. Um, and I just think it's a little more advanced now, so people are able to see certain things. And I mean, back then you had to do your own research or whatever. Now it just pops up on your feed. So it's like I think it could definitely be media. That's what I would say. Um, and I just think it took too long in my opinion. It took too
Yeah.
long.
And it's just to add on to that, because it's so funny, because when I was in school, there were like, I mean, have you guys heard about the Louisiana Tech team, the Lady
Yeah.
Textures?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
They they play dudes every day in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gators girls here at Marshall High School,
Yeah.
they always practice against dudes.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lady Textures at that time, all of them was a Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
All of
Oh,
them,
right.
like the bench too. But the media didn't catch on
Right,
to it.
yeah.
They was talking about the game is too slow.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the people don't go and watch women basketball, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, what are you talking about? This shit is great. You see these girls at Lady Tech, Tennessee. UConn came on later, but it was those. I seen a whole squad of Lady Texas. I'm talking about get all the way to the championship, lose one game, and win that thing.
Now I will say this. I think what has helped the women's game, and Aaliyah and AJ, tell me if I'm wrong, and I think this has also helped the men's game. The game has gotten better. The game has gotten better. The athleticism has gotten better. The players have gotten bigger. Like Aaliyah, when I watch your YouTube videos, you different out there. You ain't, you different. They're
Mhm.
like now. I think the women's game is at a place now, and Tuss and AJ, tell me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
You know, when you watching a player play, you can look at them and go like, oh yeah, they gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like now, I think we at a place also with the women's game. You can look at and go like, yeah,
Yeah.
she can ball.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know if we were at that place before, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that the resources was not put. And you was talking about this before, AJ, just into the school
Yeah.
systems
Mm-hmm.
to help train, to help teach, and so the women figured out organically
Uh-huh.
how to build, and I just think it took time
Yeah.
over the years to get it to the place where it's at. And Aaliyah, I know you don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it for you because
Yeah.
I thought you was gonna say my role is I'm gonna become a WNBA star and keep it on the map. So I'm gonna put it out there for you. But I want to ask you this because this is huge. I mean, you're getting ready to go to Iowa, and I mean, first of all, I was a little disappointed Marquette wasn't part of your top five, but that's okay.
Yeah, man.
I get it. I
Man.
get it. You pick four, had to pick from four Big Ten schools. I know your dad is like, really, Aaliyah, you ain't go to Indiana.
Yeah.
I know that was a nice long conversation too.
Uh,
Now, because he got to go back, especially when y'all play Iowa, he got to go up there and see you get them buckets.
yeah, right. Absolutely.
Um, but my question for you is, how was that process for you? Because I mean, you were nationally recruited. I mean, you were one of the top players in the game. How was that process for you?
Really, it was easy for me. It wasn't as hard as it may be for others, but it was only easy because I had the right people around me. I had
Mm.
my dad around me, And even though my mom didn't go to college, she still had her input when it comes to, being a competitor and being an athlete. And she was able to bring that side to me. So it was interesting and it was fun. Like, going on the visits, um, being in the live periods with a whole bunch of coaches, a whole bunch of famous coaches, famous
Yes.
people, just
Yes.
all around.
Yes.
Having the top 100 players in the same gym as you, like it was fun, and I definitely embraced it as much as I could, but I had to make a decision. So, the decision came natural to me. It didn't seem like it was forced. It didn't
Really?
seem like, yeah,
Really?
it's
I'm
not.
only saying because I saw a lot of some of the other podcasts you did. I saw some of the other YouTubes you did. They was asking you to
Mhm.
break down the differences in the school and things
Yeah.
like that. And I couldn't tell which way you was going. Like you never gave
Mhm.
off like which way you were leaning. Which, by the way, I think that's a smooth quality to have.
Yeah.
Nobody made a poker face. I mean, she had a poker face. Ag, she was like, "Oh yeah, this school. Yeah, they got in the game late. But they brought it. We'll see." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, she's smooth with this."
Right. Right.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've never, like, I didn't overthink it too much either. I was just, looking at the school, seeing the pros and cons, and just trying to level everything out. But when I was able to just level everything out, I mean, I was just came it just came to my mind. I was just like,
But what
I would think
stuck out
about.
about Iowa that you said this is the place? Because a lot of people are not in that
Did you
rare
just freeze?
position. Uh, did I
No.
freeze?
Yeah, you froze. Okay, you
Uh
back.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
you froze.
okay. What about Iowa? Because there's a lot of people who are not in the position that you were in, that you get to choose where you want to play. What was it specifically about Iowa that you said, this is the place that I know wants me just as much as I want them?
hmm Their consistency for sure. They have been recruiting me for a while, and they're like top dogs, and for you to be a top dog and be consistent with me and tell me that you believe in me, like that was all I needed to hear. Not only did they tell me that, but they just showed it. Just being at my games, Coach Bluter, she was at every single one of my games, every single one of my tournaments, I would say. At my tournaments, when during the live period, she was always there. She was front row watching, and I just heard the rest of the staff, all the whole staff watch me play. I saw them. I was like, okay, yeah, there they go. Like, not at the time where I was like, when I was still deciding, but just thinking back on it, I'm just like, yeah. I mean, they were there for me. Like, they were there because they believed in me. So I would definitely say that they were able to just show it and not just tell me.
And shout out to Coach Bluter for, man, her
Yes.
years of just
She retired,
what
right?
she has done. She retired. And I'm grateful that they picked the assistant coach to step in, because I know
hmm
that gives you a lot of
Yeah.
relief as well. Um, when you heard about that, what were your initial thoughts that the coach that recruited you all this time, and she finally got you, and she made the tough decision to walk away from the game? What were your initial thoughts?
I was sad. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty down. When she told me, or when I first saw it, and then I got a phone. But I was pretty upset. Uh, but I mean, the right after that, the second thought was just like, I hope Jan is stepping up. Like, I hope Coach Jan is stepping up, because that would definitely bring so much relief. And they told me like 2 minutes after that. So I wasn't
Wow.
out. I didn't dwell on it too long, but um, yeah, I was sad. I was upset, but um, at
What
the end of the day, the number one thing is I gotta get healthy to play for anybody first. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't I wasn't just gonna make that like just such a huge deal. But yeah, that's how I felt.
Hey, it's
And I'm
so
glad you
funny when
brought
you
that
talk
up.
about Look, hold on. I want to throw this in there because it's so funny when you talk about being recruited and going down to these schools and all that. Did you see the Williams recruitment party and Hoop Dreams? How they did it up in the hotel room. They go in the room. They got balloons. William Gates. They got him on the billboard. He getting the last shot and all that. Will say when he got to school, it wasn't none of that shit.
It ain't none of that. Mine was even worse than that, Will. At least you got the balloons. I ain't even.
Will said he got to school to start first day. Yeah. He said, "Well, all the damn hoorah, all that shit at."
Get on this line and do these tens. That's what they said.
Do these tens.
Get on this line. Get this 6 a.m. weight training program, and then go to class after that. Like, dang, it's real.
This was my realization. This is my realization. The coach said, "Hey, Will, man, it was a pleasure to recruit you. Now it's a responsibility that you're here." I was like, "Oh, this is different." It was different. You weren't saying that at first. You didn't tell me nothing about responsibility. All I kept hearing was, "Right, we love to have you. I can see you here." So that's so crazy. But Aaliyah, I'm glad you brought that one piece up because I didn't. It's sensitive. And here's the thing, and I resonate with you because. It was me, the injury component. And, I was sad that it happened during your senior year. I mean, when you're senior, listen, coaches ain't got to coach you no more. I mean, I know they feel like they coaching you, but they don't. I mean, you're a senior. You know the stuff you need to know. Forwards, backwards, you're playing your best basketball. The injury happens. And I know what I thought when I first had my injury, but when you had yours, what were your first thoughts?
Keep it right.
When it first happened, I tried to get up as fast as I could. I was just like, I got to do something. Like this can't be it. Like I got to finish the game off. But then when I tried to take that step and I couldn't, like I physically could not put my foot down, I was like, dang. It was just like everything just froze and I was stuck. And then I went over to the table and they told me, I was like, you can't play the rest of the game. That's when I broke down. That was when I broke down, when they told me I couldn't finish the game. I'm just thinking about the game. It was a big game. It was a specific player that I was ready to go at. I was ready to go. I was ready to roll. And then just for something to just get in my way like that, and I couldn't do nothing about it. It was just frustrating. And I mean, I couldn't really process much. I just wanted to finish the game, honestly. But when I would say after the game ended, I was thinking to myself, I was like, this might be it. This might be one of the biggest events of my life. One of the major types of adversity that I'm gonna have to face, and we just gonna see how I come back from it and what I do with it.
Dad, how did you feel? Was you there when that happened?
Yeah. I was up in the crowd. I was recording the game, and I saw it. I didn't see it happen, but I saw her hopping around. And when I saw her hopping around, I was just praying that it was an ankle. And I was like, please let it be her ankle. Because the crowd stood up when she went to make the move. I couldn't see. And so I took my time getting out of the crowd because I felt like if by the time I got over there, if she wasn't back in the game, something was wrong. So I kind of walked slowly around, everybody saying stuff, and I saw the trainer doing the knee pull like he was doing Will at the All-American camp. He was doing the knee pull, and I was like, I knew what it was. And then when he told her she couldn't go back in the game, I just hit her on the stomach. I said, calm down. I said, because everything had been going so great. Y'all know in life, man, everything was going so well. I just knew at some point some adversity was going to hit. I just didn't know what it was. I ain't know when it was. I was like, I was praying that she would make it through the season. Like pure before this, I was like, man, I don't care if she averages 10 points, lose, win 2 games. I just want her to make this through this season healthy. But in back of my mind, I said she's been going, and this is another thing we talk about with our youth sports. Our kids are playing too much. They're playing too many games for a too long a period of time. And I'm a parent that I knew it was happening, but the will to play, you don't want to get in the way of that when somebody's on a journey. Like it's like being on a journey in the Book of Eli. You trying to stop him from getting to where he's trying to get to. And I wasn't gonna be the one to stop her, but I knew it. I said they are playing. My baby playing too many games, and you just know you don't know when. So when it happened, it's weird as I say this because it was almost like a sigh of relief for me. I said all the noise stopped. It was so noisy, like people everywhere in your ear. She number one player in the state. This person, it's everybody, and people coming to the game, packing the gyms to come see her play, but it just stopped. And then to be honest with you, I think she needed it. I said, "Oh, she needed it," and I needed it. It was something that was welcome. I won't say don't want anybody to get hurt or on purpose, but sometimes you welcome it. And I just told her, "Hey, look for it. It's a challenge that you never had to face before, and this is one of many that life is going to present to you, and I want you to attack it." I said, "That's it's over. We ain't playing no more. We done. We." I knew it 2 days later when she wasn't trying to go back to practice. Because anytime she got hurt, she would always see, "Look, Dad, I could jump. Look, I'm good." But I was waiting on that, and it didn't happen in 2 days. I was like,
that didn't happen.
I said, my baby done. I knew it. So
That's
getting
that
MRI,
that's that dog in Aaliyah.
yeah,
Like I know she was like, I want the rehab to start tomorrow.
yeah. Like we got lucky and we got the surgery. Like you usually have to wait a month or two, and we got it within 2 weeks.
Wow.
And so the recovery, she's on the road to recovery. So that it was something that I kind of knew was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I love adversity though. I love the challenges. All right, now we got to get you back even better than you were before. That's the goal. Like, and then let's start from that day forward. So I want to go back because I want to talk about first. I want to shout out the Mac Irvin family. Big Mac Irvin the third.
Absolutely.
She played for the Fire family. Uh,
Oh, nice,
for
nice.
Journey. So Mac runs a program out of Chicago, and the journey to get to the point where she got to, it starts with that. Like and that's another different thing that's different for basketball now. It's like you have to align yourself. Like back when we played, they came to your house, they came to your school, they came to your high school games. They don't do that no more because the competition is not what it once was. So they don't waste their recruiting days coming to your house. So they've created a system where they can come see you all summer, basically. But the trick is you have to know what team is able to play in those type of tournaments that will bring out those crowds. And the Mac Irvin Fire is a program. I think it's been going on for 25 years, starting with his father.
We all are familiar
The
with the Fire program.
the boys side was older than the girls side. The girls side a little young, but it's produced some great players. We had to join the Fire in order for her to get the visibility to be seen. And then once and our journey was, man, we had to go up to practice. We had to drive to practice is 5 hours to get to be on the team to play. That's the sacrifice we had to make. She had to get up and go to school after coming back at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning for 2 years straight, starting in March. Basically from March to June, we had to do that. And that's the new part of the process that weighs on our kids. And some of our kids can't afford that. They can't afford that opportunity. And these teams don't exist down here in Peoria to where, they can get the exposure that they need to be successful. But I couldn't go without shouting out the Fire program for providing that for about 100 kids every year. In fact, I coached his 15U team today. So, and that's my way of giving back to him for what he did for my daughter and putting her on that stage and saying, "Hey, man, this is it. This is what." And I said, "Oh, it's up to you now, Lily. Duke over there, Iowa over there, and what's up?" Hey, they say she number 20. What's up? You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of a different process, but I think it's very important as you guys continue your journey to be able to know that and be able to share that with parents, and because without it, they're not gonna be able to get the visibility that they wanted. So shout out to the Urban family for that.
Yeah, shout out to the urban, well, just the entire urban family, man. Been a basketball institution
Yeah,
in the city of Chicago, man. Shoot, way before my days. I
man,
mean,
it started with
the
us.
urban family, yeah, but yeah, man, the urban family, man. Even when we used to go to camp, the urban family was there, man. Like they were running the
They're
camps.
running the
They
camp.
wasn't,
I think Big
they,
Mac was
so
the
shout out to
ABCD,
them.
one part of the
Uh,
ABCD joints back in the day.
Aaliyah, I do
I
want
think
to
Big Mac
Yeah,
was.
I think we really
touch
can
on
call
this.
them the first family of basketball here in Chicago.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Aaliyah, I want to touch on this simply because I think it's important, and you're going through it right now. But can you share with uh, our audience what this journey has been like for you from the injury? Having the surgery, uh, processing it. Because I remember, when I had my surgery, the noise. It's like you said it earlier, AJ. The noise stopped, and sometimes as an athlete we don't recognize how much we actually lean into that
Yeah,
noise.
right. Yeah.
That noise is kind of like whether it's negative or positive. Like I used to love when people say negative stuff. That didn't do nothing but encourage me more.
Right.
Like, oh, that's what you think? Gotcha.
Right.
But then when you don't hear nothing,
Yeah.
that can be a lonely place
Yeah.
at times. So tell our audience how this process has been for you.
This process it's been interesting. Um, it's been a learning experience in a lot of ways. I know one time for sure where I had one of my episodes, and that was the first week after surgery. Um, and my knee just started aching. Like I had already took my pain medicine, but my knee just started aching, and I was like, God, why? Like, why does it hurt this bad? Like, why do I have to go through this? And my dad came in the room. He was like, I mean, you can't just be sitting around and crying about the pain. Like, you gotta fight it, and it's probably gonna come again. But when it comes again, just know like you're not gonna be crying, and you're not gonna be doing this, doing that. You're gonna be like, okay, like this what I gotta go through. This is just the first week. Let's just get through this, so then we can start the rehab, we can start the PT, we can start doing whatever we gotta do. And then I think that was really the only episode I've had throughout the whole process, and that's all it took, for real. As a competitor,
Some encouraging words from a '90s
Yeah.
dad.
Look,
yeah, I mean
what we talked
that was
about was just winning the day. Like that's like
yeah,
I said you got beat today. You lost. It's almost like losing a game. You lost.
right,
You let the pain win today. So going forward, let's win more days than we lose. So that means you got to do something extra to make you feel like you're making progress. If they ask you to do one toe lift, do 15 toe lifts. They tell you to go, you can walk for 10 minutes, walk for 15 minutes. So just that when she went through that, I was just like, all right, you're still competing. You're still competing. It's you against time and your body. But go ahead and win the day. But that's what we talked about in that
yeah.
conversation.
I mean the competitor in me, just ever since that day, ever since that message got across, I was like, I can't just be losing these days now. Like that just it's not acceptable. So, and then I remember I did my first leg raise on the couch, because that was the goal
Mhm.
for the week.
Mhm.
And just having a goal every single week, I had my first leg raise. Then I had um how far I could bend it.
Mhm.
Then I had doing leg presses. Then I had what I have after that, doing squats.
Mhm.
And then now this past week I've been able to do ladders, and I've been able to do mini hops. So next week I'll start. It's possible that I'll start jogging. Um, and just setting goals for myself every week, And also another thing that helped me throughout the process is I got way closer to God. My dad got me a women's study Bible for Christmas. And um it was actually it was no, that was was it before? It was before my injury, right?
Mm-hmm. What the Bible?
The Yeah, because you got it for Christmas, so it's
Yeah.
before.
Mm-hmm.
So he got it before, and I had read like the intro or whatever, but we had our game, so I'm like, I'm just praying. I'm like, keep me healthy, whatever. But I think throughout the process, I've definitely been able to get closer to God because I can't just sit around. Like I can't just sit around and be stiff legged all day. So like I gotta do something. And so I've been reading a lot more, writing a lot more, and I think it might have been a reason why it happened. Like
Yeah.
maybe that's why he did it. Maybe he was like, you ain't talking to me enough. Like what's up? What's
Mm.
the word? You know?
Mm.
And I mean, in my mind, I'm like, dang, you had to do all that, Lord. Like, dang. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I believe that in the end it'll be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely just gonna keep pushing myself, and the ending goal is to just get in a doctor's office and they clear me. They clear me to get on the court. They clear me to play with full contact. And until I hear those words, I'm not gonna stop.
Right. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
For
It's
real.
funny that she mentioned that because I was always on her about reading all the way up to that point. I mean, going hard because I was a reader when I was younger. So I was like, but I understood what it did for me, and it enabled me to dream. It helped me to imagine. It helped me to interpret. It helped me to communicate when I needed to communicate. And when you guys know, y'all got daughters and sons, and that phone is powerful. We use it too, but it's like it captivates you and keeps your attention. And then we go back to what Will talked about. It's like, man, when the noise stopped, man, and it set you down, it forced her to look at this book and say, hey, all right, man, let me open this thing up. So you got to take whatever you can take out of the situation. That's what I took out of it from her. She's clearly more, I'm saying she was more articulate and intelligent than before. Like just listening to her talk, even today, I'm like, oh, she got it. Like I don't even have to worry about being interviewed anymore, or being taught or telling your story because you have to tell your story, in order to inspire. So that's a big part of it, and I'm glad because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, it sat you down so you can read, so you can pay attention. You know what I'm saying? So that was part of it, but I'm glad she mentioned it.
I tell you this
Hey,
too,
hey,
Aaliyah. I just wanted to share this
uh,
with you that
uh,
you passed one of the first major tests of being set down is can you overcome uh, this limitation that you're facing now? And you have. I mean, you heard the right words from your dad, and thank God for your dad that
For
he's
sure.
there to give you what you need to hear at that moment because so many kids don't have that. But I think the other aspect I think that you learned, or at least this is what I'm hearing from you, is that you're recognizing that, and I said this a little bit earlier, the strategies. We gotta have strategies for failure because
mm,
failure is inevitable at some
yeah,
point, whether it's an
point.
injury, whether it's a job loss, whether it's, you know, not as long of an NBA career as we wanted. We only function in, the good part of the strategy. Like we could
Yeah,
see the dream.
yeah,
We could see the hoop dream,
right.
Right.
but but we ignore all the stuff that can disrupt
Yeah, definitely.
the hoop dreams. And I appreciate the fact that you have focused, you've taken this time to see the other greatness in you, which is your stability to handle anything. I'm just like, I'm amazed. I'm still sitting there going like, you just graduated high school? What is where'd you get this type of maturity from? Because I'm looking like, you know, I mean, one of the first things that college coaches got to deal with is, freshmen's immaturity.
Right.
And you're gonna come in ready. So I can't wait to see you play. I'm praying that you're going to be able to play this year. I've listened to some of the Iowa podcasts. You got some that say yes, some that saying no, but they don't know. Only you and God
Right.
know that. So
Right.
That's on you. But I want to jump into this real quick because I gotta have. We just gotta ask this: who you get your game from? Your mom or your
So real.
dad? I had to ask.
It ain't. It ain't no competition. Ain't no comparison. Really, I just I did my best to get what I could from both of them and make it my own. If
There
that
you
makes
go.
Political
sense.
answer.
Yes.
Political answer.
Oh
Yes.
please.
Yes. Yes.
But and I'll never forget. I'll never forget. It was one time where something had happened. I think I played bad or something, and my dad was like, "You're." It was something in relations to like because of us. Because of my parents, I'm the player who I am. Which is, and I started crying because of that. I didn't want to hear that. But as I grew up, I'm like, I mean, it's true. Like, if it wasn't for the knowledge that they gave me, if it wasn't for them keeping me in the gym, at the end of the day, I still wanted to be in the gym on my own too. I started asking. I was like, Dad, can we go work out? Can we go to Synergy? Can we go work out? Can we get some shots up? And so I've definitely I feel like I've definitely been able to combine everything, and it's not coming from just one or the other. I've I've just been able to I've been able to figure things out, and I've been able to figure myself out as a player. So that's my answer to that.
And that's a tough
Whether it's
spot to be
political or
in, though.
not.
No, that's a great answer because that's a tough spot to be in. I think a lot of people don't recognize, especially if you're not, you don't play sports, or if your parents wasn't like popular in sports. Like for you, AJ, for me, for you, Tuss, our kids, whether y'all like it or not, Aaliyah, y'all do play in the shadow of who your parents once were.
For
And
sure, yeah.
the fact that I mean, I'm sure the initials, don't help either. AG. I mean, when you step
Right.
on the court, everybody knows that,
Yeah.
hey, man, that's AJ Guyton's daughter right
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, how have you been able to handle? Because I'll never forget when my son, his first game, and he was playing at St. Joe's, his first week at school, he had kids come up to him and say, "Man, you'll never be as good as your dad." And he's like, "I ain't even stepped on the court yet."
Right. Right.
Like,
Even there.
have you handled being the daughter of two successful? I mean,
Mhm.
and I'm probably even underestimating that, two great pro players. I mean, your dad played for the Chicago Bulls.
Yes. Down the street
They're down
on
the
Right.
Madison.
I mean, so like I mean like I just told you the story of like when I started crying from whatever he said, and the reason for that is just because I wanted it to be because of me, like I wanted it to be because I'm just like that. But no, like I have those parents, I have those genes, and so being able to use that on top of my work ethic, I feel like it's what's been able to just keep me not keep me from looking at it in a negative way. Like, so I definitely feel like just me playing hard, me working out, me getting better every day. I think that's how I've been able to handle it, and just being my own athlete and letting my game speak for itself.
So you ain't never had that
Okay.
moment where you said, "I'm not y'all, I'm me." You never had that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's smiling at you. She had that moment.
Yeah, I
She
definitely
had it.
have. I definitely
She had it.
I will say
She had it.
yeah.
Yeah, the DNA gives you a head start, and in that conversation, that's what I was trying to explain to her. It's like, man, the DNA gives you a head start, but the work ethic is the water and the sunlight to it, and it's not gonna bloom if you don't work hard, if you don't commit to it. And a lot of these kids have commitment issues. And we made it look easy, and I tell people that all the time. My era of high school basketball down here in Peoria. We had a lot of guys that were successful, and we made it look easy. But we were all so dedicated and committed to the game. Like, we knew everything about the game, the history of the game. We knew who came before us. We knew who was on our heels. We knew who was upstate. I knew who was in Chicago. They knew who was down in Peoria. Like, yeah, we just knew it. We were just committed to it. So I said, you either gonna commit to it or you ain't gonna make it. And that's just the bottom line. And I remember that conversation. It was right outside her middle school. She was still in middle school at that time. And she just
Wow.
I don't know why I remember that either.
Oh, I said, I finally found something to piss her off. Okay.
No.
That's what you're always looking for. That's what you're always looking for. What's the button? I need the button. Where the button?
I found the button that day. And it's like, you think you us? You ain't nowhere near us.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you? Right, go ahead, bro.
I want to tell you this too, Aaliyah, because I can't. It just, we all mama boys, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Sure is.
Your daddy, most of the way he is because of Mama Guyton.
Yeah.
The way Will is because of Mama Gates.
Mhm.
We are mama's boys. So that's where we gain our strength from them. Yeah. And I just can't, not talk about Mama Guyton the last time I saw her at the Windy City Bulls game. Yep. But the way your dad pours into you, it just oozes Mama Guyton. All that information that, you know what I'm saying? Like it just, and just how Mama Gates is. We are all mama boys within this basketball fraternity. Right. And we take that and we want to pass that on to our kids.
Definitely.
Sure.
Well, you're doing the thing. Aaliyah, we just got a few more questions for you. Then I know you got so many other things you got to do, but currently,
she ain't got nothing to do.
She ain't got nothing to do.
Nope. She done with school, baby.
Yeah, we can but that's about it. This is the time.
But currently, WNBA or NBA players, who do you pattern your game after?
Currently, I would say Jordan Canada. I would say, as much as people, I don't feel like she gets the recognition she deserves. But
I've seen her play. So you telling me right now, you tough like that?
Yes, I've and it's crazy. It's crazy because like I've grown like my toughness so much. Especially, and I will say especially because of Mac. Like just that Chicago style. I never really had that for real, but when I started playing for them, and we talking stuff. Look, I'm looking at them like, y'all really saying this to people? Like, what? But and then so like I mean, it ain't something that I do all the time, but like I will respond. Like now I will respond, but just her overall toughness, her mental toughness. Like no matter if she's scoring or not, like she always gonna be up in your face. She always gonna be playing hard. And if she can't control her offensive game, she gonna control her defensive game. And that's something that my dad was always saying to me. But I feel like being able to see that and see what it could bring to the table, it's just a whole different ball game. So I would say her for sure.
That's it. Who did you grow up watching? Who inspired you?
Who inspired me? Just I would say watching my mom. Watching my mom and like I remember her last Olympics too. Like, seeing her on TV. And as she was older then, but her stubbornness and her grit to just want to keep playing basketball, and no matter who's in front of her, like she gonna come at you. Even just playing against her, like she like, I'm not gonna let you beat me. Like, you really think you can beat me? Yes, I do. She still asks me the same stuff to this day. She still asks me. When she first moved to Iowa, we had our little 1v1. I won, but but
can you confirm that?
I wasn't there, but you know what though, it is confirmed because her mom did call and tell me. And it's confirmed, and I was shocked. I was like, she beat you for real? you got to go to the post when it's like that. You just got to go straight to the
That's right. That's right.
She
game.
tried it. She
Change
tried
the
it,
game,
but
change
she
the
had
rules
to.
of the game. Like that's how we win.
See,
She
see,
tried it, but
your
I
mom did it wrong. You
Yeah,
see,
did it wrong.
we quit before y'all win.
Hey, I'm done.
nah. She wanted to keep going. We had played like 2 games. I was up 2-0. She wanted to keep going. I was like, Mom, I'm not about to do this to you.
Mm,
I'm not.
mm,
But she tried that post game. I had to send her left though. She had
mm.
no moves going left. But yeah, I would say just those little moments in watching my mom. Them definitely those definitely just made me be like, yeah, that's this how I gotta be. This how tough I gotta be.
Mhm.
And even her, when we would have our conversations and she just admitted all her weaknesses, like, I mean, of course I had to use that when the time came, but she would have conversations. A lot of times I would go to her meetings when she was playing for the Brazilian team. I would be in the same hotel room as her and stuff. So watching the national team practice or whatever. But those fun moments was just able to bring all those different types of traits out of me.
Right.
Amazing.
So you
AJ, you have
started
a
at the
question
pro
for us?
level, huh?
Right.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah. What you say, Tuss?
I say you had to ask us some questions.
Yeah, but first of all, I introduced her. I mean, these kids. It's hard to get them to sit down for 3 hours and watch a movie, but I introduced her to Hoop Dreams. You know what I mean? So, and the crazy part is, I watched it like 100 times when I was young. It was on videotape. Wasn't great quality, so I got a chance to rewatch it and just sit down and watch it quality. Like, I'm seeing the intro. We ain't had an intro on the tape I had. We ain't had an intro. I'm saying so, but what I learned, I was like watching it as an adult. Like, I know you guys, it's a total different experience. Like, I'm like, I just watched these boys grow up raw naked in real time. Like, that's very rare that you get to watch that. And the one question I had for Tuz, I was watching, when the moment that your father left the house, how did that change you? Like, because it was almost like y'all was like, I mean, a great family, and I know they do editing, so I don't know what was edited and what it wasn't, but it looked like your family was great. You was going to St. Joe's, and then you got to go to Marshall, and then Dad bounced, and then you go through a period where you look like you was kind of lost, like you was moving around, you was doing your thing, but you wasn't locked in. And they kept saying, and I'm looking at you answer questions. I'm like, oh, he lost for real. But I didn't notice this when I was a kid. I'm watching. I'm as an adult. I can recognize a kid who need that guidance to get you wasn't all the way off. You was right there, but you 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I could tell. Your gear game was getting fresh. I'm like, I'm like, where he getting this gear from now? I ain't even noticed this in there. You kept a fresh cut. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, where he getting all his dad gone? Like, how did your dad being gone change you in that time period? And how did that feel with your dad being gone, leaving the first time?
You know what? It was it wasn't as affecting as people watching it or think it was, because I had Sheila Agee.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, long as I had her, I was like, shit, I can get through anything.
Yeah.
So my guys that was in the street, they would take care of me. So I would have some Jordans. I would be able to get a fresh cut. But as long as my mom, was there, and, was with me and was behind me, I said, I'm cool. I say, all I got to do is, but I was upset that they split me up from my man. That was what I was depressed about. Yeah. Like, damn, I can't go to school with William Gates and play with him. Like, that's what I was really mad about, bro. Like, more than anything. Like, my dad, I ain't tripping on that, but we was close, but I got my mama.
Yeah,
she gonna make sure we got food, clothes, all that. But I was mad that I had to leave Will and St. Joe.
Right.
So that was my whole motivation of going to Marshall and walked in there, was like, I'm taking somebody's spot. I don't know none of y'all.
Right.
And you're going to have to deal with me every day and this mouth.
Right.
They thinking I'm crazy. They was like, nigga, you know we got vice lords and GDs.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
I'm like, bro, let's get it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
But did it create, it seemed like you was upset with your pops, though. For like,
oh yeah,
that's what it seemed like. I know they can edit and make it seem like that. So I really want to ask that, like, because I could tell where you looked at. I'm like, is you for real? Like, you know, are you like, how did you change our relationship?
You know, it was just like one of those son father relationships where you know where your dad is like not being himself.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know he's doing these drugs, and that's what's probably making him act this way and all of that. Okay. But when that dude saw these cameras and really saw that I can play this game, man, my dad straightened up real quick. Like it took him a jail stint, and then talking to this bishop coming into his life in the hospital. Mm-hmm. That did him a 360 degrees, bro. Dang. He remarried my mom. Yep. You know, made a commitment to the Lord and everything. Yep. And I saw this as positive.
Real time. Oh, we saw that.
Yeah. So I was like, I just, me and him just start building that relationship back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Getting it back strong. And man, he going off to college, he was one of my biggest supporters, man.
Absolutely. No, I could see the change. I didn't know for the camp, but I could tell. I was like, man, that was a real change right there. And we get to, like I said, we got to see it real time. Saw him when you he was dunking in the park, and then him walking up looking like he had just used, and then the next about an hour later, he clean, he got the tie on, he's speaking that talk. Like, you never get to see that in real time. Hey, like we saw that.
Yo, AJ, it was so funny because after, you know, we done with school and everything. He's really into the ministry now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And when and after Curtis, you know, had passed, him and Will got close like this.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Like, you know, they was on that spiritual journey together because Will was looking for answers about, you know, Curtis was one of his biggest supporters and he ain't have him there. So Bo kind of like helped him, you know, grow to that. So I was able to see that.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I don't take too much time, but Will, I had you too. My first thing for you, 2 questions. Was it? I see you threw my Indiana letters away. Was you close to going to IU? I saw your mom dump the joints out. I'm like, what did Bob get a chance to talk to Bob Knight?
Let me tell you something, man. I did, and let me tell you what kind of counseled it was because Coach Knight had he just knew I was coming. So our talks weren't like the best.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that.
So he was, you know what I'm saying? He was like, okay.
Yeah.
You coming to what?
Yeah.
That's all you got for me?
That's all you gonna say?
Like, because
my daddy doing nothing?
Right. So I had been prepped to go there.
Oh, okay.
So that was never, so it went from Isaiah to Tony Freeman.
Yeah.
And Will Gates was supposed to be next.
Yeah, fact.
But he never gave me I almost felt like, you know, do you or don't you want me?
Yeah.
So I could never get where he was at. But Coach Knight, well, you know, he stayed in control of everything.
Of everything.
So yeah, I just didn't get it. Now, we had the conversation, and I do believe he would have been right. He said, you come here, I'll make you an NBA player.
Right.
Like, I got stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, because I know what you need to improve on.
Yeah.
I'll help you improve on it. I will promise you, I will make you better. And he also said stuff to me like, and I'll help you for the rest of your life. Like, I got that stuff. But I just didn't, I didn't see the balance in, will I be seen as a person there?
Yeah.
Or will I be seen as just,
you
know, a piece of or component to what he was building?
No doubt.
But overall, man, everybody I talk to about Coach Knight, man, they have nothing but great things to say about him. But I'm like, how come that ain't translating on TV? Because he look crazy on TV. I was like, he look crazy. I'm looking like, man, he, even like, Free left.
Yeah, no.
Free was, and I kid you not, I tell people this to this very day. As great as Isaiah was, Tony Freeman, pound for pound,
right,
probably was the best St. Joseph player of all time.
Right.
And I'm looking like, that dude couldn't make it in Indiana?
Right.
Will Gates might not have a chance.
No, that's fun. Now that's the truth, and that's how he recruited me as well. It was straight to the point. It was, but I enjoyed people who kept it simple. I wasn't looking to be convinced. Once he said you was gonna play on national TV, got a chance to start, and I would make sure you graduate. Shoot, I was sold. I was like, all right, cool. Like, but I tell people all the time, if I probably would have known more about Coach Knight, I probably wouldn't win. I said the good thing is I didn't know very much about it. Like, because I'm in Bradley University of Illinois country. Like, that's all we see. We don't see, I ain't see the chair throw or the whatever. I ain't know nothing about that. I knew people were, but I think our high school coaches are kind of similar. Pingator and Chuck Bisher, they kind of emulate their style and their cultures after Indiana basketball. Because we had Chris Reynolds, who's a Indiana alumni. I mean, Bradley University athletic director. He went to Indiana before me. And he came in, even told me he kind of crazy, but he said he'll take care of you though. I was like, cool. Like I didn't know what I didn't know, so it's another reason why I went. And the last part, did you feel like you went to on the movie? It felt like Marquette was your last choice. I'm sorry, let me reword that. It was your only choice. It felt like it at that time, at that time period.
Tell him the real one. Tell him the real one, Will.
I was wondering.
Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this: it wasn't my only choice.
Okay.
I had 5 just like Aaliyah.
Yep.
And what happened was my brother Curtis was supposed to go to Marquette.
Okay.
And he never got the opportunity. So I felt like I said, you know what? Let me give him this dream.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, man. I think Marquette's an amazing university.
Absolutely.
And was grateful to get the scholarship. But how it really went down was there was 3 of us. It was me, Eric Snow, and Calvin Rayford. So we were all being recruited by Marquette. We were all being recruited by Michigan State, and we were all being recruited by Kansas.
Wow.
And we were all 1A on their board. So whoever signed first
it was
just going to rotate.
Right.
So in retrospect, how it probably should have went, Calvin Rayford, who was from Milwaukee, probably should have went to Marquette.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I should have went to Michigan State.
Yeah.
And Eric Snow should have went to Kansas. Now, clearly, it still worked out for Eric Snow.
Sure.
And this was what I was saying earlier about going to the school that wants you. What I was meaning by that is finding that school that plays the type of style that you play.
Yeah.
See, Michigan State was a guard school. They've always been a guard school.
Yeah.
Marquette was a big man school.
Yeah.
But I went there not knowing that, man, this ball is probably going to go to the post.
Right.
80% of the time.
Right.
And so, but overall, man, am I grateful for the journey? Absolutely. Because one thing I walk away with is knowing that I see all these guys, man, that have come from Marquette that have been doing well. And initially, what I always tell people, like people say, well, what were the years you played there? I say, well, I'm after Doc Rivers and I was before Dwayne Wade.
Yeah. Figure it out, right?
I'm in there. So we kind of rebirthed the program.
Yeah.
We got it back into, its national prominence. We made it to the Sweet 16. So we were the team that kind of really recreated the culture since that 74 championship team.
Absolutely.
So I was grateful at that.
Yeah.
But listen, man, we had you guys for so long. I just got one more question. Then my man Agee got a final question for you, Aaliyah. Actually, for both of y'all. But my question for you, Aaliyah, because you're in it now. You talked a little bit about it earlier. NIL. Is that a part of your journey now? I mean, are you getting NIL deals? Can you talk about that, or where are you with that right now?
Yeah, I have had a couple of NIL opportunities, and it's been able to help me learn a lot of different things. And I would say, just being in moments like these, like even just being on this podcast, it's helped me learn how to talk. It's helped me learn how to sell my brand. It's helped me learn how to talk about myself and explain to people what I can bring to the table or a certain vision I may have. So I think that's definitely a good trait that it's helped me with. And also just getting the tools that I need. My sleep coach, and his name is Thomas. He's been able to help me get those NIL opportunities, and they've provided a lot of recovery supplies. So I have one with Deep Sleep Wear. It's a sleep hoodie company, and on road trips, like I bring the hoodie with me, and it has a built-in like sleeping mask. And so, I mean, it's something small, but sleep is definitely something that you will need. Like it's not something that we think about a lot. Like we be on the game or we be on the phone or on our phones and stuff like that. But I mean, if you don't get sleep, how you gonna wake up for your 5 a.m. workout? Like,
Yeah.
you know. And so not even it just helps me think about a lot of things that I wasn't thinking about. And also like getting my what is it called, the sauna. I have a infrared sauna, and so it's basically my dad uses it a lot.
Mhm, yeah.
But it's
Like,
basically
I know.
it's almost like a little suit that you get in. You zip yourself up in it, and then you turn the heat up, and it makes you sweat. It just makes you burn a lot of calories, and it helps for after workouts or stuff like that. It also helps you relax your body before you go to sleep. So
It
just
sounds like it
I
is
think,
a workout. I need that right now.
Absolutely, man. To make you help relax your body, man. I love it.
yeah, he'll tell you. But I think NIL has definitely it's been good. It's been a good opportunity, and it's been good to just learn a lot of different things about it.
Mhm.
do you know what number you will wear when you go to Iowa?
Not for sure, but the numbers that I requested were 4 and 11.
I hear that.
You
I hear
know,
that.
we
I know
going for
that's
that
right.
11 Tuss. We going for that 11, man.
I know that's right.
Yeah, you already know 11 my number one for sure, but we got four in the books too.
I Before AG asks you his last question, you gotta promise us this, that you will come back on this show after your freshman year and let us know what's going on.
hmm I got you for sure.
All right.
I
All right.
got you.
I'm tired of this, coach. I want to transfer out of here. All this stuff.
She ain't Coach Boulder. I don't know what this is.
Yeah. I ain't never put my
Kaylin was pulling up a half court and I can't even get 5 shots a game.
total different story now.
So this is my last question for the both of you guys. I'm gonna go with AJ first. AJ, you're still an athletic director
Yep.
there in Peoria.
Mm-hmm.
What is the next chapter in your hoop dreams,
Mm-hmm.
and as well as Aaliyah, what is the next chapter in your hoop dreams?
Mm-hmm. For me, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I feel almost there's a ceiling that's been reached. So, and I think I want to, whatever I do, I want to be able to impact young Black and brown people. I want to help them achieve whatever goal they want to achieve. And I've been kind of priming myself for that, doing this job and doing what I did at Illinois Central College and coaching all the years. So whether it's coaching, whether it's some type of mentoring program, whether it's whatever it is, I just want to have share my knowledge and share my experiences and my family's experiences to help motivate the next generation. Man, it's tough for them. They don't have a lot of examples, and even with Aaliyah, I try to, what we don't do here in Peoria is we don't shine a light bright enough on kids like Aaliyah who are doing things the right way and not having a perfect life, but overcoming and achieving her goal. We don't shine a light on it enough, and I don't want to be a part of helping figure out what that light is and shine it on these stories that are happening that get pushed to the side for negative stories. So whatever it is, I want to be a part of uplifting the next generation of kids.
For myself, number one is continue to overcome this big moment and get healthy. That's number one. And then for my next 4 years, I'm gonna take the time to myself, and I'm gonna just get an overview of what I could have done different throughout my high school years, what I could have improved in, and I want to bring that to my college career to become just a bigger a bigger name, just and be a part of this, not just be a part, but like just be another a reason for why the women's game is growing as well. um and eventually get into the pro era and come back home and give back to the kids. But I do want to just take things step by step. So number one is get healthy, and then just become the best player I can at the University of Iowa.